Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something super exciting, rigging without writing a single line of code. That's right, I'm going to show you how to create complex rig using visual scripting. Whether you're a beginner who intimidated by coding, this video will change the way you think about rigging. Stick around, by the end of this video, you'll be able to create flexible, dynamic rig using just node and connectors. Let's get started. Now, I know rig can feel overwhelming, especially when you're dealing with a lot of control and attribute. So to keep that simple, we're going to focus on making everything as minimum as possible. Instead of bombard you with a tons of code of scripting, we're going to do this visually. That way, even if you're a beginner, you can follow along and get great result. Okay, so before we jump into the details, let's make sure we're all in the same page. If you haven't already rigged the suspension system, check out my early video where I walk you through that process. Once you got that down, you're ready to move on to the foot rigging. Trust me, this is where the magic begins. All right, let's start by adding some custom attribute to our rig. Those attributes will help us control the foot movement more precisely. I'm going to show you how to add them quickly using the attribute editor. If you want the script I'm using, let me know in the comment. I'll drop it up for you. Now, we got 5 key attributes ready to go. These will help us control things like the foot rotation, bending, and more. Let's move on to the fun part, making the foot move. Okay, now we got our attributes set up. Let's rig the foot. The goal here is to make sure the foot can rock side to side and bend naturally. A blend node and a clamp node. Those nodes will help us control the foot movement and set limit so it doesn't go crazy. See how the foot moves now? It's smooth, controlled, and ready for animation. But we're not done yet. Let's add some more details and make it even better. Create another clamp. So this time we're going to Y. We'll do it to G. I like to keep it consistent. Negative 100. We'll start with negative 1. We'll start with 100 for everything, and then we'll drop anything if we want to. We want to connect, do a multiply, divide. And it's great to rename your nodes. It'll be easier for her. Take G and place it under the Y. So the multiply divide is there to just give me a sense of directions. So I wanted to multiply it by 1, and if it's going to the wrong direction, it allows me to redirect my movement. That's one reason why this one's there. As you can see, like Y is not doing anything at all. So if we take Y, we plug it into G, which is red, you would say, and now it's feeding into this clamp right here and gives us something really nice. Now we can go ahead and see what we have here, and as you can see, when I'm rotating here, everything works. That's why I say it is like A and B. So if I wanted to redirect it, so let's just say if I go here and I want it to go on the other side, I can just go ahead and do a -1. And if I try it again, and you'll notice that it does that. And that is one reason why I have a multiply divide here. It is very important to rename your nodes. All right, and that's pretty much it. All right. Now, episode 2, I show you guys how to work with this, how to do this by using expression. Now, let's create another view. We're going to see what kind of expression it has. So let's go ahead and see the actual expression, which is here. If we go up, one more up, here and we graphed it. This is the expression that we have. So if we, now what I want to do, because this one has an expression, perfect. See, this has an expression. But if I go up and I try, you'll notice like it doesn't affect it because it doesn't have the expression to drive it. So what we can do a lot of things with that. So we can go ahead and try to write the expression all over again. We can try to write the expression all over again. We can give a if we can give a condition statement or a loop there. We can do all this. But what if I told you like you can do all this in the node editor? So with the expression already, all we got to do is just adding to that expression. So, but we're gonna do it in the node editor instead. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fascinating. And once we're done, you'll notice that it will automatically update it with the expression. But one thing note it won't do, it won't take anything beyond this connection. So for example, this, so it looks at this heel control right here, and it's connected directly to that because it, if you look at here, we have a, we declare it. So when if I start changing this name will change to the appropriate connection that it have, and it would automatically update it. So we don't have to do anything to the expression at all. And I'm going to show you how it's going to change. So let's just go ahead and add another setup node here. So with this node we're going to add a plus and minus node. Now, once I plug this in here, this one will change. So if I go and go back to it, as you can see, plus and minus, I'll put D. So it automatically updated with the expression. So of course I'm gonna rename it. Of course, once I go back to it, and you'll notice that everything should be updated. Correct. So, and that's what we need. And we're done with our expression. But at the same time, are we done? Because what we wanted to do is if this activate right here. So let's just call this A for the control, B for offset, and C is for extra, offset, and then C would be for extra offset. So if I decided to have any connection to that, and I want this one to, once it activate, to go ahead and use that part. Once A activate and use that. Once C activate and use that expression. So the first thing we can do an if else, and if else. Like we can give a three condition. Condition one. We'll rename each one. Let's say A, we want the false value to be at 1 and 0, 0, since we're dealing with one information, and the second, and we want it to be true. We also want the C to be true, but we only want to deal with the value of A, B, C, and then we'll just get this value of and that would be 1 also. So with the node here, so R, we want R, when R is activate in the input 1, we want it to be 1. Actually, we want it to be 1 when activate, we also want it to also be 1. When C activate, we also want it to be 1. All right. So now let's start plug things in. Let's go ahead and let's see. We'll add these two. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger so you can see. So this is a control. This is the group, in which is gonna be A. Control will be C, and extra would be B. So we know this control. Where it's controlling, which is Z. Z to R, So this is going to be B. Z to G, and Z to B, which will be C. Now let's test it. See what we have. So if I select this, everything's worked perfectly fine. Now if I move here, everything also worked perfectly fine. So if I use that, if I activate A, everything works perfectly fine. So